One day, the world faced a great calamity, which caused towers and dungeons to appear out of thin air, resulting in monsters and dungeons that attacked humans, plunging the whole world into disaster, especially the Korean peninsula, which became infamous as a region where dungeons and towers appeared non-stop, with the monster attacks being fiercer than in any other country. The surprise attacks of monsters on poor, unguarded citizens made all of it a literal hell. But within the deep darkness, the brightest lights are created, and in the novel that our boy wrote, these lights are called heroes. The novel mentioned that Korea battled monsters through the power of the heroes, who were able to slowly get various towers and dungeons under control, and by using the industry created around calamity as a driving force, the Koreans eventually managed to recover from the brutal crisis. With the passage of time and countless efforts of the light that shone upon Korea, the country became a leading global power rivaling countries like America, and it became a country where heroes from all over the world would gather. Korea, as a countermeasure against the increasing monsters and dungeons, founded a hero institution using state-of-the-art magic and magical engineering. The organization, known as Cube, welcomed hero cadets from all over the world who had overcome incredible acceptance odds to join the organization. And it is the same organization where the hero who will save the world and his rival exist in the novel. Our boy, the author of the novel, set the story this way. However, there is a problem, for the very world he wrote in his novel is unfolding in front of his eyes. Everything from the cube, the cadets, and the hero of the novel is strikingly similar to the novel our boy wrote, which surprises him a lot. However, our boy is further surprised when he realizes that he is able to hear many voices dissing Kim Soo-ho, claiming that he just lucked out, while other people praise him, wishing to be in his place. The announcer, who is presenting achievements of Kim Soo-ho and introducing the top cadets, mentions that Kim Soo-ho, who is the top student this year, is one of the youngest students. Kim Soo-ho, the main character of the novel our boy wrote, is the person who leads this chaotic world that is dominated by both heroes and monsters. Kim Soo-ho has the traits of an upright hero who upholds good and justice every time. However, he has a special secret, which he is hiding from everyone. According to the story of the novel that our boy wrote, Kim Soo-ho will face off against his rival, Shin Jong-hak, who secured second place amongst all the candidates. Shin Jong-hak is the fourth generation of Jinsung Corporation and has incredible potential, rivaling that of the main character. However, he is a future villain and a firm believer in the doctrine of elitism. Although both of them are cadets at this point, later in the story, Shin becomes a villain due to a sheer inferiority complex against Kim Soo-ho, resulting in a fierce battle between them, with Shin representing darkness that wishes to engulf the entire world, while Soo-ho representing light that shines only to free the world of the terrors of the darkness. After seeing the two central characters of the novel he wrote stand right next to each other, our boy concludes that he is actually in the world of his own novel, which then causes our boy to question his identity, for if it is a character that he wrote for a novel, then it should at the very least have a name. As our boy is thinking about it, a cadet addresses him as Kim Chun-dong, asking him if the reason he is spacing out in the middle of the cadet orientation is because he went to bed late. Our boy, after confirming that the cadet was actually addressing him, wonders if he even wrote a character with that name, for our boy does not recall writing something of such sort. Our boy believes he might remember something if he sees his face, but as our boy looks at the camera, he gets shocked, for he does not even have a face. No mouth, no nose, no eyes, but instead a big fat question mark on the face. However, our boy soon realizes that he has turned into a character that he never wrote. Our boy also finds out that his lack of presence is due to the fact that he lacks an appearance setting and has an old-fashioned name, which would otherwise make him a normal person except for the fact that he is a cube cadet. Our boy has no interaction with any of the main characters, so he is essentially an audience filler character in the novel, also known as an extra or, to be more specific, a speck of dust in a desert. Our boy remembers that one day he received an email where the sender proposed a remake of his novel, The Returning Hero, which was purely just for the sender's own self-satisfaction. Our boy was a bit startled because, due to him falling into a slump, his novel, The Returning Hero, stopped releasing for more than a year, which is something quite unusual. Our boy did have a sort of guilty conscience about stopping the releases. However, our boy had no idea that the reply he sent, assuming that it must be a request from a unique fan, would turn out to be the cause of the situation he is currently in. It has been 2 weeks since our boy began seeing this unknown question mark as his face, and he has gotten quite used to it, which is also because of the fact that our boy has finally accepted that he is not dreaming and the place he is in at the moment is actually the novel that he wrote, with Kim Chun-dong being one of the countless and nameless extras of his novel. Our boy has tried using all types of different methods these past 2 weeks, but he has not yet found out how or why he was brought into this world of his novel, which means that our boy might have to stay in this world for a very long time. Our boy calculates that if this world continues even after the point the novel stopped at, then he would have to live here for more than 10 years, trapped in his novel, laughing with kids who are only in their teens with a big question mark decorated on his face. Our boy does not want to even think about it, for he wants to live his life to the fullest, and he would hate being stuck in a novel that was stopped. Our boy starts thinking of a way to get back, and after pondering for a while, he concludes that the best thing to do in his current situation would be to catch up to the main story, because our boy only has to make it to the middle of the storyline, as after that is where the releases stopped. However, to do that, our boy decides that he should go to school to live out the story. The school where our boy would be going is located in a place known as Cube, which is an artificial island located on the Eastern Sea, where approximately 50,000 people, including preliminary hero cadets, live. It is a city assembled by people talented with magic and manufacturing skills from all over the world, and it is the very existence of this organization that makes Korea a powerful nation. The core of this city, Cube, as well as the main stage of our boy's novel, is the hero training school, where even among the hero candidates with special abilities and talents, only a very small number of elites can actually become cadets of this school. The original owner of our boy's body, Kim Chun-dong, is also a Cube cadet, and even though our boy has no idea what abilities this guy has, the mere fact that he is a Cube cadet is enough to assume that he has a remarkable talent. However, the only thing our boy wishes is for this body to have a useful talent that would allow him to survive in this perilous school. After much thought, our boy finally stands in front of the truth class, which serves as the focal point of Cube's episodes, containing everything from antagonists, villains, sidekicks, and rivals to the very location where the protagonist of this novel is staged. Each character in this class will soon form cliques, resulting in countless complications, but the student that would have to face the most complications is none other than our boy, because he would have to spend 10 years with these guys without a face. Our boy is somehow able to spend his day in the class without facing any kind of problem, which was surprisingly hard for him. After finishing his classes, our boy returns to his room, where he is shocked by a parcel labeled as Cube Deliveries sitting right above his desk. Our boy wonders if this parcel contains the belongings of the original owner of this body and opens the parcel, only to get shocked, as the parcel contains his own laptop. Our boy quickly turns it on, and without any kind of prompt, the laptop begins synchronizing our boy with our boy, Kim Ha-jin's original body. The system then starts downloading the settings, upon which our boy sees his information along with his stats and abilities. Kim Ha-jin realizes that it is the same setup that he once wrote, which only makes him wonder about the guy who sent this laptop. As our boy is thinking about this, the system completes its synchronization, which not only completely resets Kim Ha-jin's stats, but also frees him from the agonies of having a question mark as a face. Kim Ha-jin sees his reflection on the black screen of the laptop and finds out that somehow he has gotten his real face back, which, although it surprises him, is not the end of the surprises he is going to have. Kim Ha-jin notices that there are screens all around him and wonders if he has gone through enlightenment, an awakening phenomenon in this novel that occurs when one surpasses their limits. After enlightenment, one is able to see their talent, skills, abilities, and much more as values. Moreover, because of enlightenment, one is also able to become stronger with far more efficient methods than before, which is also simply known as the status window. Our boy decides to thoroughly go through his status window. However, the parts that catch his attention the most are synchronization and initialization. Kim Ha-jin has no idea what they are, but he believes that it is because of these two concepts that he no longer has a big question mark as his face. Kim Ha-jin also notices that because of synchronization, his stats have gone way down from Kim Chuindong's stats. However, in exchange for the downgrade, he received points. After that, the next thing that catches Kim Ha-jin's attention is the tab known as Settings Intervention, which is a unique authority given to our boy. With this unique authority, our boy can use story points to write or edit any non-living target, as well as stats, talents, masteries, and constitutions that are specific to his character. The story points increase as the importance of Kim Ha-jin grows in this world, allowing him to convert 1 point into 1,000 story point. Kim Ha-jin is taken aback by this, as he does not recall ever having writing abilities of this kind. However, our boy quickly realizes that the first thing he needs to do is increase his importance within this novel, because the possible reason he has been given this laptop and strange ability is so Kim Ha-jin can interfere with the main story of this universe. Kim Ha-jin also notices that there is another tab that is currently locked, but will unlock the moment the main story ends, which means that if our boy wants to return to his original world, he must quietly interfere. After witnessing this, our boy realizes that there's no guarantee he will be sent back to his original world. However, even if he does nothing and simply waits until the point where he stopped publishing, and even though the odds of any newly unlocked information being useful are low, he believes there's still a chance he might come across a hint about escaping this world. To increase those chances, he decides to get involved with the main characters. But to do so, he must first become strong enough to endure the horrors of the main story. To be able to do that, Kim Ha-jin decides that he should invest points in his stats, which he lost because of the synchronization. There was no concept of leveling up in his novel like the common RPG games, where one raises their stats the way they want. The only way to do so is to consume points, which are an extremely valuable resource, and the only way for our boy to make the most of these points is to invest in his luck, which is not only limited to the chance of finding an unknown reward in a dungeon, but is a cheat that applies to every aspect of life, such as money, bonus stats, interpersonal relationships, and many others. Kim Ha-jin wonders if it would be possible to raise luck if he converts his points to story points, as luck is an invariable stat that cannot be raised with points. Since there is nothing to lose, our boy decides to give it a try by converting 10 points to 10,000 story points, after which he invests 9,000 story points in luck to increase it from 6.33 to 9.1, which was also possible because a mysterious luck took effect. Considering how Kim Suho's magic power stat is at 9.0, Kim Ha-jin is amazed at this spectacular result. So following that, he decides to invest the remaining story point in perseverance so that he can endure the cube's extreme training. The perseverance stat increases from 6.6 to 7.2. However, at that moment, Kim Ha-jin receives a warning from the system regarding the discovery of an error that can gravely influence the plot, because of which the system disallows any modification of invariable stats with the help of a story point. Things were just going too smoothly for our boy, but there is a limit to these tricks. However, Kim Ha-jin is still glad that he managed to salvage luck and perseverance, both of which will help him in the long run. As he is lamenting over this limit by system, our boy recalls that he has another 10,000 story point from novice consideration, which allows Kim Ha-jin to write a talent worth 10,000 story point. However, Kim Ha-jin thinks he should ponder over it a bit more before actually using it. The scene then shifts to the hero training school, where our boy, along with his classmates, is taking his class after finishing his training, where the teacher, whose name is Kim Soo-hyuk, introduces himself as the instructor in charge of the class for the upcoming year. Kim Soo-hyun's ranking point is 3850, while he ranks 9,737 out of 2 million heroes, which, by the association classification, is a high intermediate rank of level 5. After introducing himself thoroughly, Kim Soo-hyun shifts to the matter at hand, where he explains how tough it would be for all of them in the cube, for each and every one of them will be evaluated solely based on grades, and if any one of them underperforms, he or she will be held back. To explain to the new students how difficult it is, Kim Soo-hyun further adds that statistically, less than half of the cadets graduate from the cube without getting held back. Kim Soo-hyun further mentions that because this facility's purpose is to nurture heroes, each and every one of them will be judged by exact and strict standards, thus making it hard for them to pass. After explaining how things work to the students in a very thorough way, Kim Soo-hyun orders his students to follow him, as it is time for the first part of the schedule, which is the selection of one's main weapon. Kim Soo-hyun unlocks the weapon inventory with his fingerprints, which opens a door to loads of exquisite weapons, which is more than enough to amaze the new cadets, as they cannot stop gazing at them. Kim Soo-hyun scolds them for wasting time and tells them to quickly pick up a weapon of their choice. Kim Soo-hyun instructs the students to choose their first weapon wisely, for once they pick their main weapon, they would then not be able to change it for at least 6 months. Kim Soo-ho, the protagonist, and the rest of the important characters of the novel choose their weapons without much issue, and it is time for Kim Ha-jin to carefully pick his weapon, as his stats are way too low to handle the weapons used by the cadets. Kim Ha-jin believes that even if he raises his stats from now on and tries to use these weapons, the result will only fall short compared to the required effort, which is why Kim Ha-jin has few conditions to choose a weapon of his choice. Kim Ha-jin decides that his weapon should be among those that he has already used in his original world, while at the same time, it should take the least amount of time to adapt to it. After pondering for a moment, our boy goes on to pick a handgun, which not only surprises the cadets, but also startles the instructor, who asks Kim Ha-jin if he is really certain about his choice. The reason Kim Soo-hyun is making sure of that is because he remembers Kim Ha-jin using a sword at the military academy, to which Kim Ha-jin responds that he decides to make a change after coming to the cube, which, although it does not satisfy the instructor, he allows Kim Ha-jin to stick with a handgun, as all the decisions in the cube are made by the cadets, no matter if that decision is correct or not. For cadets will take all the responsibility. But even though the instructor allows it, it does not mean no one will object to it, for all the other cadets start whispering about Kim Ha-jin's choice, as they consider it a foolish one, wondering if they should beat the attention seeker during the practical battle. However, our boy does not pay them any attention because, in this world, the gun is still a good weapon for normal civilians who cannot handle magic power. The magic bullet is the most commonly used bullet type because it is imbued with mana, making it far more destructive than a standard metal bullet. Despite this advantage, the gun is avoided here because its limitations are obvious. The first reason being, no matter how strong the owner is, the destructiveness of the gun is limited, and the second reason is that the gun has a short history. In the world of this novel, myths and legends come to life, and the artifacts of myths and legends exist as armaments in real life, which means the grander the origin and deeper the history related to the said object, the more a weapon's rank increases. So because of this reason, the cadets in the cube usually choose the weapons of old over the modern weapons. The cadets thus do not rely on magic bullets, but rather on their own abilities, and even if they reach their limit, they can use the power of their armament to go one step further. However, this has nothing to do with Kim Ha-jin, because our boy is not a protagonist. Furthermore, he has never held a blade, so he cannot even consider comparing to other cadets. Our boy does not think picking a gun would be a worse choice because it is a weapon he can instantly wield, and the fact that Kim Ha-jin is using it would be enough to make him stand out to let him gain story point. After choosing the weapon, the next thing on the list is to get a talent, which is a very special ability, and even though most people only received one talent throughout history, there are a few characters that are exceptions, one of which is Kim Soo-ho, who is both an inactive talent and an activated talent, as he is the owner of the Sword Saint. The scene then shifts to Kim Soo-ho, who enters the training center so that he can train with his new weapon, where he gets surprised to find his friend Chai Na-yoon, asking her if she is here for training. Chai Na-yoon, annoyed at the question, nods, telling Kim Soo-ho that she's here to train. Kim Soo-ho then tells Na-yoon that he came here because there were not many people after class, and Kim Soo-ho mentions that after seeing Na-yeon, he remembered that they now have another sharpshooter in their class, who goes by the name Kim Ha-jin. However, Chai Na-yeon is not pleased upon hearing Kim Ha-jin's name. Chai Na-yeon mentions that she cannot accept Kim Ha-jin as a sharpshooter, as he has barely a range of 1 kilometer. Na-yeon believes that Kim Ha-jin is trying to hold on for a little, as according to Chai Na-yeon, Kim Ha-jin will soon give up on becoming a hero and will take an early retirement, since that would not put the status of a dropout on his record. However, Kim Soo-ho, on the other hand, seems to not agree with Na-yeon and tells her to not speak of giving up so lightly. Na-yeon does not like getting bossed around by her friend, so she tells Kim Suho to get out of the training room if he has no intention of training. The scene then shifts to our boy, who feels like someone is talking about him and wonders if he can add that in his story points. Kim Ha-jin is thinking about what he should write as his first talent, because, considering how Kim Suho became the greatest hero with his talent alone, it is a very important thing. Moreover, our boy will also receive 10,000 story point after writing his first talent, so he cannot throw this opportunity away. After pondering for a while, Kim Ha-jin decides to go with the talent of Master Sharpshooter, which allows him to be proficient at wielding long-range weapons. After Kim Ha-jin finishes writing his talent, it automatically gets edited into a talent tab, which mentions his talent name, Master Sharpshooter, at the top, which is a spirit attribute, and is a low-intermediate rank talent. Kim Ha-jin's talent is also an evolving talent, with a proficiency of grade 10, which our boy thinks is much better for a long rank, even though it is quite pitiful at the moment. Kim Ha-jin's talent further grants him 3 skills, one of which is bullet time, that, after every 4 hours, gives a total of 3 seconds as the bullet time during a fight. The second skill is Master Sharpshooter Training, which provides proficiency in all types of long-range weaponry, which our boy believes is useful because instead of just getting limited by a gun, Kim Ha-jin would also be able to use a bow in the future. Our boy decides to pursue this talent, which makes him feel a little more prepared for what lies ahead, and all he has to do now is survive until the end of the novel with it. The scene then shifts to the hero training school, where Kim Ha-jin is attending a class. The lecturer is teaching from a textbook, which surprises our boy, for he only wrote a few lines of description for this book, which was enough to turn it into a textbook. Thanks to the talents, observation, and browsing, our boy is able to find answers to the questions that are being asked by the lecturer, something that would make the characters envious of our boy were they to find out about it. The 2 talents, observation and browsing, just like the name suggests, allow our boy to observe all characters that enter his field of view, along with their smartwatches, and also allow Kim Ha-jin to browse the setting timeline from the notebook whenever he wants on his retina, without a medium. Because of these 2 skills, Kim Ha-jin can not only know what other cadets are saying, but also make studying for classes easier for him. Today's class, on the other hand, as the lecturer instructs the students to memorize what they learned today since their written test is in a few days, which is something Chai Naeun hates doing, as she only wants to show her skills in the practical and her wishes get answered, because at that very moment, the students of the Veritas class are instructed to head to the square in 20 minutes, as their practical training is about to begin. Since students know how this lesson is going to be commenced, Kim Soo-hyun does not waste any time and announces the team formation. The lecturer mentions that there would be a total of 4 members in the team, and the formation will have 2 warriors, 1 sharpshooter, and 1 support. Kim Soo-hyun also adds that this team will be the same until the midterm test unless special circumstances arise. Considering some students might complain about unfair matchups, the lecturer assures them that the cadets will be distributed fairly, with both low and high-ranking cadets placed on the same team. To avoid any confusion, Kim Soo-hyun instructs them to remember the instructions and check their teams. Kim Ha-jin goes on to check his team members only to realize that investing in luck points did not do any good since he has been teamed up with Yuyona. In many novels, there are some characters, close to the main character, who interact with or clash with the main character to progress the story, often known as the members of the main cast. However, even among those in the main cast, Yuyona is someone who marches to the beat of their own drum. Yuyona is the main inheritor of Korea's #1 guild, Essence of the Strait, and the successor of a prestigious household who, in the beginning of the novel, forms the opposition against Kim Suho. However, gradually she is influenced by Kim Suho and eventually becomes a reliable ally to him. Precisely because of her character building, the connection to Yona is very important for Kim Ha-jin, because the more he gets involved in the story, the more story points he can earn. So to earn a lot of story points, our boy decides to find a method to attract Yona's attention. The scene then shifts to Yona, who is greeted by the 2 cadets from her class, Jin Ho-sung and Hazuki, who are also now her team members. Yona processes the information as if she is a robot, and after realizing these 2 are his teammates, she decides to not ignore them. Yona greets both of them very politely, which is something Jin and Hazuki find quite surprising, for all of them are of the same age. Yona then asks about the last member of their team, upon which our boy suddenly appears in front of her, and things suddenly go silent. Kim Ha-jin believes he should say something, since Yona hated the people who lacked self-confidence the most. But before he is able to say something, Jin suddenly starts speaking about how famous Kim Ha-jin is amongst all of the first years, only to get scared by the dreadful voice of instructor Kim Soo-hyun, who reminds them that they do not have the time to chat. The instructor tells them that he has sent the location of the monster each team has to face to everyone's smartwatches, so they should make haste and head out without wasting a second. The scene then shifts to Yona, who is guiding her teammates to the location marked by the instructor, which they will soon arrive at. So Yona tells her teammates to get ready, as they should be able to browse the information on the monster once they arrive at the location. Every member on the team is prepared for what is about to come, except for our boy, who, despite having a vitality stat beyond that of a normal person, is barely able to keep up with the rest of his team. But despite that, our boy, somehow, finally reaches the destination with the rest of his teammates. Kim Ha-jin is with his team at the training area number 8 at the beach, where they are tasked with subduing the haunting monster, the black hump octopus. So without wasting any time, they start thinking of a plan to defeat the black hump octopus. The black hump octopus is a lower middle-class monster with a main body that has normal attack power. However, the real problem is the hump on its head, because when faced with danger, the black hump octopus sends out baby octopi from its hump to attack its enemies, causing a dozen blood-sucking octopi to come flying out at its enemies at once, which are dangerous enough to turn a normal person into a mummy in a second. So to deal with that, Jin suggests that they focus on taking out the flying octopi first, while Hazuki proposes that the sharpshooter, Kim Ha-jin, handle them swiftly. However, Yona disagrees, insisting that she will take care of the baby octopi herself so the warriors can stay in the back and conserve their magic power. Yona also adds that because of the strong recovery rate of the black hump octopus, they need to separate the hump in one attack. Otherwise, it would cause problems for them later. Even though Kim Ha-jin invested points in luck instead of intelligence, he is still not stupid enough to understand that Yona is deliberately trying to exclude him from the training. The scene then shifts to Jin, who starts the mission by luring the black hump octopus to the beach by creating sound with the help of his axe. The black hump monster, taking the bait, rushes towards the shore, and that marks the start of the monster subjugation training of Team Number 5. After provoking the black octopus, Jin rushes to safety. However, to everyone's surprise, the black hump octopus explodes its hump even though it was actually in a dangerous situation. Tens of octopi are about to hit the poor Jin, who volunteered to act as bait, but thanks to Yona, who defeats all the octopi that were coming toward Jin. Jin is amazed at the terrifying power of Yona, which is expected, for she ranks 7th among the new cadets at Cube. Jin thanks Yona for saving his life and rushes to safety, while Yona proceeds to face the black hump octopus. Yona starts hitting the black hump octopus with her whip, which causes it to retaliate, and it attacks Yona with its tentacles. Yona dodges the tentacles by jumping out of their range. However, unfortunately, she lands right with her back facing the baby octopus that somehow survived Yona's attack. However, just as she is about to get bitten, Yona gets saved by our boy, who takes down the baby octopus. The reason Kim Ha-jin jumped in to save Yona despite being told to stay out is to earn story points, which can be converted into stat points as Kim Ha-jin's role in this world grows. However, for someone like Kim Ha-jin, who is an extra through and through, securing a larger role from the start is difficult, which means that the only way to earn story points is to participate in the events that the main characters must go through, just as our boy did now. Everyone gets surprised at Kim Ha-jin's precise shot that saved Yona, but Yona is somehow angry at our boy for saving her, as she wanted Kim Ha-jin to stay out. However, Yona does not have time to complain, as the black hump octopus sends another pack of dozens of baby octopi right at them, which is the only dangerous attack of the black hump octopus. But even that is not much of a problem, since the octopi that are coming out of the hump are dumb and have obvious trajectories. These two traits make it a perfect moment for Kim Ha-jin's flashy debut at the hero training school, for he has the skill bullet time, which, when used, slows the flow of time for 3 seconds, allowing our boy enough time to easily see the movements of baby octopi. The next step is a lot simple, as our boy just needs to start blasting bullets through all of the baby octopi in these 3 seconds, which Kim Ha-jin is able to do so thanks to his exceptional shooting skills. Yona, although shocked at Kim Ha-jin's skills, does not want to let go of this opportunity created by him. So before the black hump octopus sends another batch of baby octopi towards him, Yona constricts its hump with her whip, allowing Jin and Hazuki to unleash their magic power and take a final blow at the black hump octopus, ending its shenanigans once and for all. With the collective effort of every member of the team, Team 5 was able to defeat the black hump octopus within 58 minutes and 58 seconds, which puts them at 16th place. Yona is shocked to see that she was only able to secure 16th position out of 100, despite trying her best, and even though the individual performance will be assessed separately, Yona did not want to get defeated by Chase Nayun's team, which has secured 4th position, because she was aiming to create a gap between Chai Nayun's group and her own group. Yona notices a white-haired boy taking a glance at Chai Nayun, which only reminds Yona how annoyed she is at Chai Nayun's popularity. Yona is unable to control her emotions, so she smacks her hand on the table before approaching Chai Nayun to inquire about her performance in the practical training. Chai Nayun appears dissatisfied with her 4th-place finish, claiming that she expected to beat Shin Jonghak and Rachel. Chai Nayun asks Yona about her practical, to which Yona, who is embarrassed to tell anyone about her rank, responds that she ranked 16th. However, Chai Nayun believes Yona did well, telling Yonho that she would have done better if Kim Ha-jin had not held her back. Yona believes Chai Nayun is almost correct in his assessment, as it took them 50 minutes to cross a 10-minute route thanks to Kim Ha-jin. However, Kim Ha-jin's contribution to the following monster battle was quite high, as he eliminated dozens of baby octopi before they could hit the ground, which Yona believes is not possible with normal magic bullets. The scene then shifts to our boy, who is training in the training room, which made him forget to check his alarm. Our boy was training his accuracy for quite some time, so he decided to see how much it had grown. Kim Ha-jin was able to gain a 20% proficiency increase in his talent due to the skill points he invested in luck, as all of his attacks hit the low-rank monster, increasing his accuracy significantly. Kim Ha-jin's perception improves by 0.03 points as a result of the luck attribute, sharpening his senses further. Our boy believes that the luck attribute was activated during today's physical training and that his interaction with Yona was also worthwhile, as it earned him 27 story points, not to mention the significant stat increase from the exercise. The exercise increased Kim Ha-jin's strength, endurance, and vitality by 0.02 points, and thanks to mana seeping into the broken muscle cells, his strength, endurance, and vitality have further increased by 0.03 points, which our boy believes is due to the support of the enlightenment and luck attributes. Now that he has significantly increased his stats, our boy believes that he should stop for today and take a nice rest so that his muscles can recover. The scene then shifts to Yonho, who is watching a video of their physical training class on her computer. She is shocked to learn that Kim Ha-jin shot his gun 60 times in a mere 3 seconds, which makes her wonder how our boy pulled it off, wondering if it is humanly possible to pull the trigger 20 times in 1 second, or if the gun Kim Ha-jin was using had an automatic fire feature. Regardless of how he did it, Kim Ha-jin's ability is extraordinary. However, his vitality is lacking in comparison to other cadets, and the way he abruptly changed weapons after arriving at Cube is quite strange, to the point it smells suspicious. But the strangest thing of all is Yona does not remember seeing Kim Ha-jin at the Military Agent Academy. As Yona is wondering about it, she receives a message from the silver-haired guy, Shin Jonghak, who is curious as to what Yona is doing, to which Yona replies that she is analyzing her physical training video. Jonghak considers it boring. However, Yona mentions that she needs to scout out some talent first if she wants to be worthy of inheriting the guild. Jonghak acts uninterested, telling Yona that her teammates are trash, but then unexpectedly inquires about Kim Ha-jin, which makes Yona laugh because she finds it cute. Yona responds that Kim Ha-jin is capable of carrying his own weight, and his skill is befitting someone who is ranked at 934, leading Jonghak to believe that Kim Ha-jin may have gotten lucky with this team and does not have any kind of special or unique talent. The scene then shifts to the headquarters of the Creator's Sacred Grace, where the Deputy Guild Master, Yun Sunga, is informed about the guild visit schedule, which has been set for 2 weeks from now, on Friday. However, Sunga, who ranks 307 in the world ranking, pays little attention to this and instructs her assistant to look at the elegant movements and unique sword style of Kim Suho, which flows like water and is unlike any modern swordsmanship. Sunga believes that Kim Suho's sword style gives the impression that he is dancing with force while maintaining his unnatural cutting force, which makes it appear as if Kim Suho will slash through not only the monster, but the very space itself. Sunga believes that all the big guilds of Seoul are aiming for Kim Suho because of skills, especially the essence of the strait, the desolate moon, and the quietus of the forest, which is also the reason Sunga wants to bring Kim Suho to her side no matter what, which might be possible considering how he does not have a connection with other guilds. After observing Kim Suho thoroughly, Sunga shifts to the next cadet, who is none other than our boy. Sunga is surprised to learn that there is a cadet who uses a gun, while her assistant mentions that Kim Hajin probably piqued people's interest because he was on the same team as Yuyona, which sparked a small discussion in the guild community about him. The assistant informs Sunga that without using any kind of automatic rifle, Kim Hajin was able to shoot 60 bullets in 3 seconds, and out of those shots, he only missed one of them. The assistant adds that Kim Hajin showed such a performance with a low-end weapon, which is something almost impossible, because even if one were to pull the trigger using agility, the handgun would not be able to handle it. It is because of his skills that Kim Hajin appears to be called a heretic internally. The assistant further mentions that Kim Hajin is enlightened, for it is said that he changed his weapon from a sword to a gun after entering the cube. Enlightenment is a phenomenon where one understands their own talent or special ability, which is something they are completely ignorant of before the enlightenment, which is why there are some cases where if the weapon they were using does not match their talent after enlightenment, they would not hesitate to change their main weapon, but because 3 or more years of students' careers would be wasted if such a thing is allowed. The Military Agent Academy actively recommends the use of multiple, different weapons to the cadets. Sunga is amazed that our boy achieved enlightenment this fast in his career. However, she believes it is not very appealing if it is only limited to the guns. But despite that, Sunga does not want to turn her eye away from Kim Hajin, so he asks her assistant if they have a scout who is available at the moment, to which the assistant responds that since this year's batch is quite special, every scout they have is managing up to their limit. Since they have no one to keep an eye on our boy, Sunga decides to leave him alone for now, thinking that if our boy is truly a diamond in the rough, he will shine on his own, and everyone will find out if calling him a heretic was excessive or not. The scene then shifts to Kim Suho sparring with another cadet because Wednesday is anti-personnel training day. Anti-personnel training takes place in groups of 2, and because the entire training is conducted with training weapons, it is easier to judge and lessen the pain during the spars. However, despite the fact that this training allows for cadets to duel each other, our boy is the only one fighting against an instructor who is shouting at him to immediately stand up, as Kim Hajin has not won a single match in 18 matches. The reason for that being, the training firearm for Kim Hajin's use is yet to be finished, and because using a real weapon in anti-personnel training can lead to serious injuries, Kim Hajin has no option other than to train with an instructor. Our boy, because of the severity of training, wants to surrender. However, the instructor refuses to hear his pleas, as she believes that surrendering is not an option in real life. The instructor hurls a strong punch, warning him beforehand to raise his guard, but Kim Hajin, despite the fact that he was surrendering a moment ago, manages to dodge the instructor's punch, which surprises the instructor. The instructor, however, does not stop her and continues to throw punches at Kim Hajin, which he manages to dodge all of them. The instructor is amazed that, even though he has a bad posture, Kim Hajin is following her attacks with his eyes. The reason our boy is able to do that is because of the 1,000-mile eyes, which not only allow him to see far away, but also enable him to vaguely predict the movements of his targets. Obviously, this skill just shows the movements. The rest of the dodging has to be done by Kim Hajin himself, which is taking a toll on him. The 2 cadets, who have been watching Kim Hajin spar for a while now, find it hilarious to see him obnoxiously hop around like a rabbit. Kim Hajin is annoyed at their jokes. However, he gets surprised when his SP suddenly increases by 40, which makes our boy wonder if being lenient with the insults is the efficient way to gain SP. Kim Ha-jin, after the exhausting spar, buys a cola from the vending machine when Yona passes by, giving him a disgusted and arrogant look. But this is simply the result of his own actions, as Kim Ha-jin was the one who wrote Yona's personality. However, it also means that our boy knows more about Yona than she does about herself. Kim Ha-jin wonders if he can use Yona's personality to increase SP. So to test that, Kim Ha-jin casually addresses Yona and gently throws a cola can towards her, which Yona catches out of instinct. Yona asks Kim Ha-jin if he is trying to pick a fight, to which our boy responds that he is doing this in hopes of getting along with Yona, since he got carried hard in the last training session. Considering how he got 40 SP after being lenient to the extras, our boy wonders how much SP he would gain if he had a conversation with a member of the main cast of the novel. However, his test this time does not go well, since Yona returns the drink to him, warning Kim Ha-jin to not address him casually ever again without her permission. With her bag in her hand, Yona walks out of the class, only to realize that the weight of the bag feels a bit off. Out of curiosity, Yona opens her bag and finds a cola can inside it, which was secretly put in by none other than Kim Ha-jin. Yona decides to throw away the cola at first, but later chooses not to, since cola has no sins. The reason our boy gave her a cola is because Yona loves junk food such as cola, ramen, and hamburgers, but due to her reputation, Yona was not able to purchase these junk foods herself. This is how Yona's character was set up by Kim Ha-jin. However, our boy realizes that even if he tries poking at the character that no one else knows about, he cannot earn much SP if it ends in a short conversation. Rather, Kim Ha-jin has to squeeze himself into the main story, which means that our boy would have to take part in the Jin attack on the National Museum, which is the next part of the main story. Jinns are the people who make contract with the devil by exchanging their souls for greater power, but because with great power comes great responsibility, they have to become the hands for the devil's work and spread chaos in the world. The incident at the National Museum is motivated by the assassination of a specific individual at the National Weapon Museum. However, the Jinns are foiled by the main cast, who were coincidentally at the museum looking at the exhibit, and as a result of this episode, the main character Suho piques the interest of some of the main cast. Our boy believes that because two of the main cast, Kim Suho and Chai Nayun, show up, he can slip himself into the episode. Moreover, since it is still near the beginning, the Jinn are not even that dangerous in the novel, which means it would be a good opportunity for our boy to earn some SP. The only problem is how to actually get into the museum. However, as he is wondering about it, an instructor scolds him for staying outside his dorm even though the daily lessons are over, to which our boy immediately apologizes, assuring the instructor that he would go back to his dorm. At Cube, there are many clubs that promote scholastic activities. One can also think of these clubs as small organizations operated by cadets, which are focused around academia, martial arts, first-hand experiences, and other hobbies, and to suit the needs of each and every candidate. There are about 100 clubs of all sorts at Cube. Moreover, other than just self-improvement, clubs also act as a socialization platform between cadets, and the club our boy is participating in today falls under that category. Kim Ha-jin is at the Cube Gate, where the president of the Healing Rain Travel Club, Oh Han Hyun, is welcoming the cadets who are participating in the travel club. Han Hyun expresses his surprise after seeing a lot of amazing cadets among the new members this year, as he could not believe if the huge amount of application forms he received were real. Han Hyun explains the primary objective behind their Healing Rain Travel Club, which is to rest, in which they will be using the portal to travel outside of Cube once or twice every month, and today, they are planning to travel to a nearby place, Seoul, for group socialization. The trip to Seoul is exactly how Kim Ha-jin wrote it, where people are free to do whatever they want by breaking into groups of two, and because everything is the same, Kim Ha-jin's objective today is the Seoul Weapon Museum, where the first main story starts. Our boy plans to accompany the main characters that are headed to the Seoul Weapon Museum so that he can sneak into the main story. The club president, Han Hyun, decides to do group formation by drawing lots, which surprises our boy, because despite being the author of the novel, he himself does not know if the groups were formed this way. However, it does not matter who Kim Ha-jin gets paired up with, for he can just go off on his own. This gets easier when Yona ends up drawing Kim Hajin's name, for she does not want to spend her precious time with Kim Hajin and tells Kim Hajin that they should go separate ways, who responds to Yona by casually addressing her again. Yona again warns Kim Hajin to not speak informally with her, assuring our boy that there would not be a third time. The scene then shifts to Kim Hajin, who has finally reached the National Weapon Museum, which has the largest weapon replica exhibit in all of Korea. Kim Hajin easily finds Chai Nayeon, who is drooling over an exquisite bow, while not far off from Chai Nayeon is Kim Suho, the main character of this novel, who is taking a good look at the seven-branched sword, which is a famous sword in Korean history. Kim Hajin greets Kim Suho, who does not remember Kim Hajin's name, but remembers him as the cadet who picked the gun. Kim Hajin recalls being criticized by readers who thought the main character was unrelatable because he possessed all of the good qualities, such as being strong and just, and, on top of that, was also quite attractive. Kim Suho, seeing that Kim Hajin is also here for the exhibition, asks our boy if he wants to see a gun display together, since Kim Suho remembers seeing Napoleon's rifle there, to which Kim Hajin shakes his hand, telling Kim Suho that they would not have enough time to do that. At that very instant, the museum personnel issue a warning about the monsters appearing outside the museum, which not only shocks everyone but also causes chaos, as the people start pushing each other so that they can save themselves first. In this chaos, a kid was about to get toppled over by the people. However, she got saved thanks to the loud sound created by Chai Nayeon, which was enough to stop the crowd. Kim Suho saves the child, while Chai Nayeon tells everyone to relax because the hero assigned to the museum will arrive soon, assuring them that they are safer here than outside the museum, where they will simply become a nice monster snack. Chai Nayeon's punch earlier cracked the glass box in which there was a bow for exhibition. However, considering the gravity of the situation, Chai Nayeon takes it out, which triggers the alarm of theft and lowers the blockades of the museum. Because they need to stand on guard until the hero arrives, Chai Nayeon also instructs Kim Hajin to grab a weapon, but Chai Nayeon was barely able to finish her sentence when she realizes that one monster somehow made his way into the exhibition area. The monster that appeared in front of everyone is the Jin, Lucius Dog, a villain that is used as a growth fodder in the story to help the main character. And just like the novel, Kim Suho would easily be able to defeat him. However, our boy gets shocked when he sees that Kim Suho, who jumped in to take a hit at the Jin from behind, was sent flying into the wall by Lucius Dog. Our boy suspects something is strange because the story was not supposed to develop like this. Kim Hajin remembers that at the start, both Kim Suho and Chai Nayeon get pushed back slightly, but then it slightly turns into a battle where Kim Suho reveals his power and overpowers the Lucius Dog. Both Kim Hajin and Chai Nayeon are shocked at Kim Suho's state, which is quite bad, and he needs time to recover, which is a luxury the Jin would not grant them. Lucius Dog, arrogantly and slowly, continues to walk towards Chai Nayeon, who hits him with more than enough arrows, only to find out that Lucius Dog, without using any kind of special ability or healing, is standing against her consecutive shots with grit alone. After withstanding many arrows from Chai Nayeon as if they were nothing, the Jin rushes to attack Chai Nayeon. However, before Chai Nayeon gets hit by his attack, Kim Suho, despite being injured, jumps in to save Chai Nayeon, which causes the demon to shift his attention towards already injured Kim Suho. As he is blocking his attack, Kim Suho notices that Lucius Dog's arm suddenly changes into a dog, which he then uses to grab Kim Suho's sword and smashes him to the ground. The Jin then proceeds to go after Kim Suho's head, but he gets stopped by Chai Nayeon's arrows, which pierce his back. Lucius Dog, annoyed at Chai Nayeon's arrows, grabs Chai Nayeon by her neck and smashes her to the wall. Kim Hajin, panicked at the sudden change in the content of the novel he himself wrote, tells everyone to get away and calmly thinks of what to do at the moment. Our boy checks his ammo, which he realizes is not enough to make a scratch on Jin, as not only does Kim Hajin have a few of them, but they also have low destructive power. Although he can increase the destructive power of the bullets, Kim Hajin does not believe they would deal fatal damage to the Jin even if he does so. However, as long as Kim Hajin is in the world of his novel, its big settings must not have changed, which means he can alter the settings of his mana bullets to change their attribute. Along with changing the attribute, Our boy increases the destructive power of his mana bullets from 2.5 to 6. That costs him 104 SP. The reason that the world in Kim Ha-jin's novel requires many and diverse heroes is because attributes and synastries overcome differences in power and allow individuals to demonstrate greater strength, which in this case means that because the Jin has a dark attribute, he is vulnerable to light, which is an attribute that exhausts darkness. This is why Kim Ha-jin changed the attribute of his mana bullets to white light, which has the tendency to create a second explosion inside the body. Our boy tells Kim Suho to move out of the way and takes a precise shot at Lucius Dog's arm. Kim Ha-jin's white light bullet is more than enough to blow off the Jin's arms, which not only deals significant damage to the Jin while also saving Chai Neon, but also gives Kim Suho enough time to charge his attack using the Seven Branches sword. The Sword Saint's magic power that cuts through all things, while using the Seven Branches sword, allows Kim Suho to defeat the Lucius Dog in one hit. Kim Suho, after defeating the Jin, goes on to check if Chai Neon is alright, but Chai Neon slaps his hand away, signaling Kim Suho to stay away. Kim Ha-jin suggests Kim Suho to leave Chai Neon alone, as her brother will come and soon console, as that is how it went in the novel. However, without knowing, Kim Ha-jin ended up saying something he should not have, as it shocks both Kim Suho and Chai Neon. But since she is badly injured, Chai Neon is not able to say anything. The scene then shifts to Sunga, the deputy guild master of the creator's sacred grace, who is dealing with monsters outside the museum, when she is informed that the emergency situation outside the museum has been settled. Sunga, relieved at the news, asks about the situation inside the museum, upon which she is informed of the appearance of the Jin, which was immediately taken care of by 3 cube cadets, namely Chai Neon, Kim Suho, and Kim Ha-jin. However, as soon as she heard the name Kim Suho, Sunga did not even bother to hear the name of poor Kim Ha-jin and rushed to the museum to meet Kim Suho, as she cannot miss this chance to come in contact with Kim Suho in such a place. As she is running towards the museum, Sunga spots a cube cadet, whom she believes can help him find Kim Suho. The cube cadet is none other than our boy, who informs Sunga of Kim Suho's whereabouts before she can question him, confusing Sunga as to how he knew she was going to ask about Kim Suho. The scene then shifts to our boy, who got scared after unexpectedly meeting Sunga, wondering if it is also a situation connected to the story changing. Kim Ha-jin processes what has happened so far in the story and reaches a conclusion that, considering how the story has progressed without any issue up until now, he is definitely not important enough to influence the story, which means there is something other than him that is influencing the story. As he is wondering about it, our boy remembers that his novel has a co-author, which makes this world of the novel a remake version of the original novel. And if this world is based on what was written by the person who wrote that email, it makes sense that unpredicted things will occur as well. But if that is true, then the predictions Kim Ha-jin has made based on the original version are now completely useless. Shocked and worried about the sudden change in things, Kim Ha-jin notices there is a message on his laptop, which discusses the one major flaw in his novel. The message mentions that because the protagonist and the characters around him never encounter any kind of danger, since the protagonist always comes to the rescue, there is a risk of readers getting bored of such repetition. Therefore, to deal with that, the co-author of the novel has introduced a one-stop gap measure, because of which the enemy levels from now on will be increased, even if it results in chaos. Our boy is greatly shocked at this change because this completely changes most of the things in the novel. The scene then shifts to Kim Soo-hyuk, who calls Kim Suho and Kim Ha-jin, telling them to return to their dorms as he has already heard the gist of what happened in the museum, and he will ask about the specifics later. Kim Suho, worried, asks Kim Soo-hyuk about Chai Na-yoon, to which the instructor, Kim Soo-hyuk, responds that Na-yoon is taking sick leave, so she left with her family. Kim Soo-hyuk then again orders both of them to return to the cube and goes away to deal with his own matters, after which Kim Suho asks our boy the reason he said the thing about her brother. Our boy, confused if he said anything wrong, asks Kim Suho if there is something going on with Na-yoon's brother. Kim Suho assumes that Kim Ha-jin is pretending to be ignorant about it. However, because of his condition, Kim Suho is not able to continue his conversation, so he decides to talk about it later. The scene then shifts to our boy, who, as a result of Kim Suho's reaction to Kim Hajin's comment about Nayun's brother, is reading the character setting he created for Chai Nayun, who previously ranked 4th overall at the Military Agent Academy and is now enrolled in the Hero Realization Faculty, Cube. Kim Hajin gets confused after reading all of this because not only is the academic setting the same as before, but so are Nayun's family relationships, with Chai Shin-hyuk as her father and Chai Jin-yoon as her brother. Our boy doesn't understand why Kim Suho reacted that way. However, as he scrolls, his gaze falls on the old headline news, in which Chai Shin-hyuk's son and Nayun's brother, Cha Jin-yoon, was critically injured as a result of a Jin attack during Operation Fire Spark. Chai Jin-yoon's heroic actions successfully saved his 3 comrades who were about to die in the Jin's attack, but it came at the expense of his own health, as the attack caused him to collapse into comatose. Fire Spark, as our boy wrote it, was the Jin suppression operation, and it was the first opportunity for the main character's assistant, Chai Jin-yoon, to receive a Medal of Honor, making Chai Na-yoon, who was 13 at the time, extremely proud of her brother, who had successfully become a hero, or so it was supposed to be. As Kim Ha-jin is reading the news, he receives yet another one of those messages he received earlier, which was supposed to be only provided after Kim Ha-jin recognizes the modified settings in the novel firsthand. The message states that in the original work, Chai Jin-yoon was Na-yoon's reliable brother and Kim Suho's assistant. However, because the main characters had too many assistants, some changes were made to the settings in the character of Chai Jin-yoon. Kim Ha-jin is struck dumb after reading the point of change because one of the major changes was that 4 years ago, Chai Jin-yoon, who had recently been appointed as a hero, was involved in an accident on his first deployment, resulting in him receiving a demon's brand and eventually becoming a demon seed. The scene then shifts to Chai Na-yoon, who is in her hospital room, listening to the news about today's monster attack at the center of Seoul, which resulted in the injury of 50 civilians and also caused the death of 7 people. However, the monster attack was eventually suppressed by Yoon Sung-ga, the vice leader of the guild, the essence of the Strait, and some other cube cadets. Chai Na-yoon, tired of listening to the news, turns off the radio and gets back to resting again, when she is attended by her father, who rushes to make sure of Chai Na-yoon's well-being. Chai Na-yoon is shocked to see her father here, even though he is busy because of his work. However, Chai Shin-hyuk does not care about his work at the moment and asks his daughter if she is feeling better, to which Na-yoon nods, telling her father that she is fine. Chai Shin-hyuk suggests they should do a close examination and tries to call the doctor. However, Na-yoon assures Shin-hyuk that she is fine, telling her father that there was no need for him to leave his work and come all the way here, but Chai Shin-hyuk cannot help but worry about his daughter. Chai Na-yoon then asks her father if she can see his brother before she gets discharged from the hospital, which startles Shin-hyuk a bit. However, he allows Na-yoon to do so. Demons, which are the higher entities of jinns, are able to brand humans to turn them into a demon seed, and humans that have turned into seeds enter an incubation period where they bud and blossom into strong demons. In Kim Ha-jin's original setting, the incubation period was set up as 5 to 6 years, which means that half of the time has already passed since Chai Jin-yoon became a demon seed. There is only one solution to effectively deal with the demon seed, which is to quickly defeat the demon seed before the demon in Chai Jin-yoon's body wakes up. But the problem is, how and who would do it, as they cannot leave it to just anyone, and there is no mercenary who would dare to accept a request to defeat the 4th generation of a rich family. What makes it harder is the fact that there are no indicators of a seed budding, which means it is impossible to suggest taking action against it. Moreover, if the demon does wake up, it would be impossible for the hero Kim Suho to defeat a fully blossomed demon, and even if the currently active heroes are mobilized, a few of them would undoubtedly be sacrifices, which is why the demon in Chai Jin-yoon should not be given the chance to awake, as all of those people need to become Kim Suho's strength in the later parts of the story. Our boy realizes that the only way this convulsed situation can be solved is if he himself defeats Chai Jin-yoon. The scene then shifts to Chai Na-yoon, who visits her brother Chai Jin-yoon and informs him about her first encounter with a jinn, telling Chai Jin-yoon that jinns are way too much for normal cadets. Chai Na-yoon starts telling her brother about Kim Ha-jin's heroic actions today, but decides not to talk about it, and instead walks out of the room since the visiting hours are over. Chai Nayan walks out of the hospital room, loathing our boy for the comments he made about Chai Jinyan today. The scene then shifts to the hero's tower, where the deputy guild master, Onsunga, is accessing the files of a national institution in an unauthorized and illegal way, which might give her a nice tour of jail cells. However, Sunga does not care about it, as she wants to take a quick peek at today's monster attack at the museum. Onsunga recalls that at the scene, there were traces of light attribute mana found on the body of the Jinn, which means that one of the people who defeated the Jinn is capable of using the light attribute, and because light attribute mana users can be a powerful threat against the Jinns, Sunga is fired up more than even to recruit those cadets, while Yorin, her assistant, on the other hand, fears that very nature of her. Sunga recalls that the Jinn was defeated by the 3 cadets who happened to be at the exhibit, which means one of them must be the light attribute user they are looking for. Onsunga finds out that 2 of the 3 cadets, Kim Suho and Chai Nayan, are already on their list, but she has never heard of the 3rd cadet, Kim Hajin, who has the cube ranking of 934. The scene then shifts to our boy, who has recently found out that no one other than him is able to see his laptop, which, fortunately, makes it easier for him to check the settings of his novel without worrying about the gazes of the characters. After realizing this, our boy added a certain function to the laptop, because of which he gets a notification if a setting, different from his original novel, occurs within 30 meters from him, which is why he was just able to find out that Damien's self-esteem decreased from the original setting, and he chose to opt out of a sparring match. Kim Hajin thinks it is far more efficient than the messages from the co-author that he only receives when he notices a change. As Kim Hajin is working on his laptop, Chai Nayan, infuriated at Kim Hajin's recent comment about his family, approaches him and offers our boy to a spar, which our boy refuses immediately. Chai Nayan, instead of quietly minding her own business, tells Kim Hajin to not chicken out after talking bad about someone else's family, to which our boy responds that the reason he is refusing Chai Nayan's request is because his gun has live rounds, which will get Kim Hajin in trouble in case he accidentally injures a classmate. Chai Nayan gets furious and swears at our boy. However, before things escalate, she is stopped by the instructor, who orders Chai Nayan to return to her position instead of pestering Kim Hajin, as he is not able to spar other cadets until he gets a training weapon. Chai Nayan, annoyed after realizing that she would not get to spar with our boy, falls back. Although our boy should have apologized there, he does not think it is the right time to do so, as he has a primary goal, which is why he is working hard to become stronger, only so that he can defeat Chai Nayan's older brother, Chai Jinyun. This is also why Kim Hajin is trying his best to not become friends with Chai Nayan, because if he does so, Chai Nayan will feel more betrayed in the future after our boy defeats her brother. The scene then shifts to orientation for the Truth Club, where the club president, Yoon Hyan, is talking about the main activities of the club. Yoon Hyan mentions that their club mainly deals with monster analysis and raid strategy research, and for that purpose, they do a weekly gathering or a discussion. The female cadets are mesmerized at the handsome appearance of Yoon Hyan, who just so happened to have the ability to capture the audience. But only our boy knows that these 2 qualities are actually the abilities of a demon. The Cube, which is an important stage in the early parts of the novel, sees various events like cadet kidnappings and monster invasions, and the club president of the Truth Club, Yoon Hyan, is the mastermind that leads those events. Yoon Hyan is a Jinn that has obtained the charm ability from the demon who goes by the name Lilith, and his primary target is Yona, which is why Kim Hajin had to join this academic club. After explaining the basic purpose of their club, Yoon Hyan then proceeds with a little discussion about the monsters. However, since today is orientation day, he decides to take it easy and informs the cadets about the Mountain Tyrant, a high intermediate monster. Yoon Hyan mentions that the Mountain Tyrant appeared with the outcall, the worldwide mana explosion that occurred 50 years ago, and was the cause of towers, dungeons, and monsters, which means that this monster has a history of half a century. Yoon Hyan then informs the cadets about the importance of the information regarding high-rank monsters, particularly their weak points, which is valued at millions of dollars or more. To make sure it does not turn into a one-sided lecture, Yoon Hyan decides to get input from the audience and asks Yona about the weak points of the Mountain Tyrant, to which Yona responds that its weak points have not been discovered yet, which is a correct answer. However, since they have to end the orientation with that. Yoon Hyun asks the cadets to participate in the after-party in case they want to share their opinions. After everyone walks out of the orientation room, Kim Ha-jin asks Yeon Ha if she is going to the after-party, but instead of answering Kim Ha-jin's question, Yona straight up ignore it. However, our boy repeats the question out loud, to which Yona nods, telling Kim Ha-jin that she might be able to obtain useful information. Our boy, confused as to why Yona would need information regarding such a monster, asks if Yona plans to share it with her guild's raid team, which renders Yona silent. Yona's guild, Essence of the Strait, was founded 50 years ago during the outcall, with Yona's family at the center, and they are currently one of the major and influential guilds of Korea. However, our boy has recently heard that the deputy guildmaster's pull within the guild is really strong lately, which has also threatened Yona's position as the traditional inheritor, which Kim Ha-jin assumes is the reason Yona is uncharacteristically going to the after-party to get the information. Yona does not understand what Kim Ha-jin is trying to get at, so she tells her to stop beating around the bush, to which Kim Ha-jin responds that he is willing to inform Yona about the weak point of the high-rank monster, the Mountain Tyrant, so that she can rack up achievements to inherit the guilds without any problems. Kim Ha-jin informs Yona that attacking at the small blue emblem on the Mountain Tyrant's heel stops its movements. However, our boy is not giving this information for free, as he wants Yona to buy the Desert Eagle from his Essential Armory, which is operated by their guild. Yona, somewhat convinced, asks Kim Ha-jin if his claim has any basis, to which our boy smugs, as if he has the undeniable proof in his hand, and tells Yona that he does not have such a thing to prove his claim. Yona gets bamboozled at Kim Ha-jin's audacity. However, he assures that Yona is going to lose out a lot if she does not trust him. If Yona decides to ignore Kim Ha-jin, the information our boy gave her, which is worth millions of dollars, will go to waste. But if Yona believes him, our boy will end up with a powerful ally, an ally that will one day be known as the Queen of Seoul. The scene then shifts to Yona, who tells Secretary Jean to pass the information regarding the weakness of the Mountain Tyrant to the Mountain Tyrant raid team and inform them to hit the blue emblem on its heel. The scene then shifts to our boy, who is shocked to find out that he has a debt of $300,000, which is also the maximum loan one can receive as a cube cadet. Realizing that Kim Chundong has scraped together all the money he could from loans, Kim Ha-jin gets infuriated at him. However, our boy decides to check if his bank balance is in a good state, only to find out that he has a meager amount of $3,000 in his bank account. If this keeps up, not only our boy will not be able to return to his world, he might just spend the rest of his life paying off his debt in the novel, while another way being the black market. Kim Ha-jin realizes that he has to earn some money, and he currently has two methods of earning lots of money legally, the first one being the stocks. In this world of novel, as towers and dungeons continue to pop out, the guilds that discover these are treated similarly to companies, and the guilds that are listed in the stock market can have their guild stocks traded. While Kim Ha-jin does know which guilds will be listed on the markets, he decides to hold off the stocks as he does not have enough money to invest, which leaves him to go for the second option, which is the field hunting. Field is a dangerous area haunted by the monsters. However, unlike dungeons and towers, the difficulty of the field is worth a lot, and one can quickly earn money by selling the monster corpses. However, Kim Ha-jin does not think that his stats, which just barely passed the average male stats recently, would be enough to head out for field hunting, since it would be a waste to spend story points strengthening the training firearm. As our boy is wondering about the other ways to earn money, he hears a knock on his door, which informs Kim Ha-jin of a package that was sent to him from Cadet Yona. Kim Ha-jin, surprised, opens the door to see the package, only to get shocked by the item he received from Yona. The scene then shifts to a field area in the Wonju area of the Gangwon province, where Kim Ha-jin receives a warm welcome by the receptionist due to him being a cube cadet. The reason our boy came to the area is because it has a relatively low danger ranking field, which is why even foreigners from all over the world come to hunt here, leading to the city being known as the international megacity. This city is hustling with different kinds of people, some of whom are looking for a party, as they are serving a mage who wants to travel together to the vicinity of Chayak Mountain, while others are selling troll blood potions. The city is also rumored to have some crazy people, one of which is a crazy man hunting with the bare body, as if he is playing Dark Souls. Our boy notices that there is an agent that is buying corpses from the hunter, which makes him realize that he needs to get an agency involved to gain an advantage when selling monster parts. Kim Ha-jin is wondering if he should instead look for a random agent nearby to speed up the process, and at that very instant, he is approached by an agent who wants to work with Kim Ha-jin. After struggling to find it, the agent shows his business card to our boy, which surprises him, for this agent is none other than Park Soo-hyuk of SH Entertainment, which will become the best agency representative of Korea in the future. Kim Ha-jin cannot believe himself that he would find Kim Soo-ho's future agent just like that, and even though Park Soo-hyuk has no confidence in his business, Kim Ha-jin knows his true worth and decides to make a contract with him, which shocks the poor guy. However, Kim Ha-jin completely realizes that this world is only the beginning of the novel, which means there will be a lot of characters who have not found their true value in the story, so it would not do any harm to make connections with them. Early on, the only thing that worries Kim Ha-jin is if it would be okay to take away Kim Soo-ho's agent. However, he decides not to think much about it. The scene then shifts to Kim Ha-jin, who is looking for the monsters to hunt in the field, while Park Soo-hyuk is right behind him. Kim Ha-jin asks Park Soo-hyuk if he would be okay since he is following Kim Ha-jin into the danger. Park Soo-hyuk tells Kim Ha-jin to not worry about him and rather focus on the hunt, as Kim Ha-jin can always leave him if things become dangerous. Our boy is surprised to see Park Soo-hyun that desperate for success. Agents without cars usually just wait outside the field. As they are walking, Park Soo-hyuk notices some hobgoblin tracks and informs Kim Ha-jin about them, telling him that not only are they easy to hunt, but they are also worth 300,000 to 400,000 won per head. But our boy is not interested in small prey, as one magic bullet costs around 200,000 won, so it would be better if he hunts a much more expensive monster to get better profit. Kim Ha-jin notices a steel boar on the cliff and asks Park Soo-hyun about it, to which Park Soo-hyun responds that it is not possible to defeat a steel boar using a gun, as it would not be possible to even get through its outer skin. However, our boy decides to give it a try, as he has just received a new Desert Eagle from Yona, which is a high-grade weapon and even has a steel attribute. Moreover, our boy has also added a certain setting to it using story points. Park Soo-hyun repeatedly requests Kim Ha-jin to hit the steel boar, as it would only anger it, which will put both of their lives in danger, but Kim Ha-jin is feeling more than confident today, so he takes a shot at the steel boar, which shocks Park Soo-hyun because it pierces the steel boar in a single shot. The damage of the Desert Eagle will only increase from now on because of the setting our boy has added to it, which doubles the power amplification feature of the Desert Eagle if the enemy dies with a single shot. Our boy appreciates how effective his new gun is, which Park Soo-hyun, who was previously skeptical of Kim Ha-jin's weapon's gun power, now agrees with. Moreover, Park Soo-hyun is also impressed with Kim Ha-jin's shooting abilities. Kim Ha-jin takes another shot while they are talking, surprising Park Soo-hyun, only to discover later that our boy shot a black pelican flying far away. Park Soo-hyun once again gets amazed at Kim Ha-jin's ability to see faraway places, but little does he know that those distances are nothing more than a hand's stretch away for Kim Ha-jin. After hunting two monsters, Kim Ha-jin proceeds to gather their corpses, which takes them some time. Kim Ha-jin then asks Park Soo-hyun if it would be possible for them to carry outside the field, to which Park Soo-hyun suggests that they should pay the dispatch cost and call 911. Park Soo-hyun then promises to deposit the reward money tomorrow as soon as possible after doing some calculations on taxes and other related stuff. Kim Ha-jin is impressed by Park Soo-hyun's work, as he is making sure to take care of everything, so to not bother him much, he decides to leave things in his care. Park Soo-hyun, remembering that it was Kim Ha-jin's first hunt, asks where he would be using his reward money, to which Kim Ha-jin responds that he plans to invest in stocks, which startles Park Soo-hyun, as he was not expecting such an answer from a teenager. The scene then shifts to Kim Ha-jin, who is searching regarding the dungeon that the new guild, Packhorse Masters, had raided. Our boy wrote this guild with the setting that a demonic human had founded it, and it was treated with quite importance in the novel. Later in the story, the Packhorse Masters will clear the Suwon Demon Den, which will increase their stocks by nearly 100%, which means that if our boy buys it, he would without a doubt get a good profit. Kim Ha-jin invests 3 million won in Theory stocks, and tries to remember if there are any other useful bits of information. After noticing that the public forum does not have much info, Kim Ha-jin decides to check the Shady website, which is famously known as the Violet Society. The word shady reminds our boy about the Chameleon Troupe, who are the main villains in the later half of the story, and as the name suggests, all the members' identities in the crime organization are concealed, and the only person who has information about their activities and locations is none other than Kim Ha-jin. Kim Ha-jin recalls that, despite being a criminal organization, the Chameleon Troupe despises demonic humans, which means that if he can meet the leader, he may be able to get some assistance in defeating Chai Jin-yoon. According to the current story, Kim Ha-jin recalls that one of the spots in the Chameleon Troupe would have been vacant by now, which indicates that it is about time for them to make their move. However, while Kim Ha-jin is researching about that, his laptop suddenly turns off, which shocks him because it was Kim Ha-jin's only way to return to his own world. The laptop suddenly turns on its own after a minute or so and starts updating to fetch new features, which relieves Kim Ha-jin's soul. The scene then shifts to a cafe, where people are shocked to see Yona and Shin Jong-hak together, wondering if those two are celebrities. However, Jong-hak is not fond of that whatsoever and wants this noble society gathering kind of thing to stop once and for all. However, Yona tells Jong-hak to bear with it, as nothing bad comes out of making connections with the leaders of the society. Yona then asks Jong-hak about his grades, to which Jong-hak, rather disappointed with not being number one, responds that they are just fine. As they are talking, Chai Nayan enters the cafe, and while Yona signals her to come sit with them, Jong-hak rushes to welcome her, as both of them are not expecting to see each other. Since she was admitted to the hospital, Jong-hak asks Naeun if she is okay, to which Naeun nods, telling Jong-hak that there is no need for everyone to overreact. Chai Naeun asks Jong-hak and Yona about Kim Ha-jin shortly after taking her seat, which surprises Yona because she was not expecting Naeun to mention him. But the reason Chai Naeun mentioned our boy is because, during the Jin incident at the museum, while three of them were fighting the Jin, which was stronger than they expected, Kim Ha-jin came in for a clutch and shot off the Jin's right arm with his training gun. Chai Naeun believes that Kim Ha-jin is quite suspicious, and since Yona was on the same team as him, Naeun asks Yona about it. But Yona already did a thorough search on Kim Ha-jin after our boy informed Yona about the weak point of the mountain tyrant, which turned out to be correct. Yona learned that Kim Ha-jin is a cube cadet from an orphanage who is 300,000,000,001 in debt, but it makes no sense for someone like him to have figured out the mountain tyrant's vital point. Yona tells Naeun that she does not recall him having a unique quality and wonders if Kim Ha-jin is hiding something, because from what Yona saw in the Monster Practical, she does not recall Kim Ha-jin having enough power to destroy a Jin's arm. Chai Naeun, after getting no help from Yona, proposes that Kim Ha-jin might be a Jin, but Yona, after getting startled at the proposal, responds that a Jin would never defeat its own kind. But Chai Naeun still believes that Kim Ha-jin is hiding something. The scene then shifts to our boy, who gets blinded by his laptop's light, after which our boy notices his laptop is updating and has almost reached 100% of progress. Before he is able to make sense of something, Kim Ha-jin feels an immense pain in his left wrist, and information starts getting crashed into his head like a tsunami. Our boy learns that the stigma he is receiving is one of the authorities of the creator and contains magic power. Kim Ha-jin also finds out that every time the total story points obtained by him exceeds a specific amount and his importance rises to a stage above, one stroke will be engraved on the stigma. Furthermore, the mana infused in the staiga can be used as our boy wishes, and if all the mana is used up, it will be recovered within 24 hours. Kim Ha-jin feels immense pain as large amounts of information get pumped into his brain, to the point the pain becomes unbearable and Kim Ha-jin collapses in his room. However, before he collapses, our boy receives a system notification, which informs him about the updated contents of the system. The recent update has not only added a low-grade Hift, a book of truth, to the gift of observation and reading, but has also strengthened the gift of observation and reading. While our boy is lying down unconscious, Shin Jong-hyuk, on the other hand, asks Chai Naeun if she loathes Kim Ha-jin, to which Chai Naeun, who is still infuriated at Kim Ha-jin's comment about her brother, nods, affirming her hatred for Shin Jong-hyuk. The scene then shifts to the Association Tower, where Kim Suho, Chai Nayun, and Kim Hajin, who all fought with the Jin, have gathered as their services got acknowledged and are now about to receive the Exemplary Citizen Award. The injury Kim Hajin got yesterday on his arm is still hurting a lot, but regardless of that, he still wants to figure out what kind of ability he has received yesterday. Chai Nayun, who is sitting beside Kim Hajin, is annoyed by his presence and tells our boy to shut up, but our boy reminds Chai Nayun that she was saved by him, so Chai Nayun should not nag him. Before they start bickering with each other, Kim Suho tells them to stop and changes his seat with Chai Nayun despite her disagreeing. After sitting beside our boy, Kim Suho clears his throat and thanks our boy for saving their lives, telling Kim Hajin that they would not have been able to defeat the Jin without his help. However, Kim Hajin does not agree with him, as he believes that Kim Suho would have defeated the Jin even without his help. Kim Hajin thinks that if he had not helped them last time, Kim Suho might have awakened to a higher level of power because the main character always becomes a stage stronger when faced with hardships and dangers. The scene then shifts to the association personnel, who get panicked at the arrival of Hyuk, a superior class hero who ranks 37 in the hero ranking. The audience is surprised to see Hyuk, who is famous as the Wolf of Valhalla, and is impressed at the incredible wave of energy he is emitting. The award ceremony begins as Hyuk gets on the stage, after which the conductor asks the recipients of the award to come to the podium. Hyuk is here to award these 3 cadets for risking their lives to defeat the Jin and becoming the model of the society. Hyuk presents the award to Kim Suho and praises him for his abilities, warning him to never come to the association and instead work as a hunter under the Brilliant Origin Guild, because being a hero is just filled with huge responsibilities and is absolutely boring. However, despite Hyuk's warning, Kim Suho feels that he is suited to be a hero. Hyuk then hands over the award to Chai Nayun, who addresses Hyuk as her master. However, Hyuk denies being her master as Chai Nayun is a Bao user, telling her that the only reason he took care of Chai Nayun was because of her father. Hyuk then gives Kim Hajin his award. However, since he has no idea who our boy is, Hyuk does not say anything else to him, which feels a bit awkward to Kim Hajin, and he realizes that having no interest in anything is worse than being hated. After that, the award ceremony ends with a few words from Chai Nayun, and the scene then shifts to our boy, who is joyous after receiving the Jin Elimination Prize money, which is a whopping amount of 15 million won. Our boy decides to invest this money into buying more stocks of the Packhorse Master. However, for now, he proceeds to give the updated functions on his laptop a look. The updated function is a stigma, which Kim Hajin believes is the name of the wound that was engraved on his arm yesterday. However, the instructions for using it are quite vague, as our boy does not understand how it can be used following his will. Just to give it a try, Kim Hajin wills to use the stigma, which causes the stigma to manifest a little, but our boy quickly hides it from the eyes of the people and decides to check it in the dormitory. The next updated function is the notebook internet activation, which, although vague at first, reveals the list of the sites that can be connected currently. Our boy believes that he has hit the jackpot with this function because not only does it contain the normal websites, like CubeNet, Weapon Gallery, and Messenger, but there are also some websites that can only be accessed by paying a good fee. Among the websites that are hidden behind a paywall, the most important is The Violet Darkness, which is one of the most famous hidden websites. The Violet Darkness acts as a place to trade information, weapons, bounties, commissions, and much more. Almost every hero has used the Violet Darkness, and because of that, it is established in the novel universe that the government overlooks this underground economy despite knowing everything about it. Our boy recalls that in order to join this, one has to pay an enormous entrance fee. However, our boy is not one of them, as he can easily obtain an account to access the Violet Darkness by just using 200 story points. After using 200 story, our boy proceeds to log into the website. But before he is able to do so, Kim Hajin gets approached by Sunga, who, after confirming that the cadet sitting in front of her is Kim Hajin, takes a seat. Sunga mentions that she wanted to give something to Kim Hajin, but was surprised to see Kim Hajin disappear so suddenly from the award ceremony. Sunga then hands our boy her name card, and although it might seem simple, but there is a big implication in Sunga giving our boy her name, because it is the very first step in Yun Sunga's scouting method. Sunga tells Kim Ha-jin that she wanted to ask him regarding something she was curious about, but our boy refuses to tell him anything, which shocks Sunga. But the reason our boy did this, Sunga having such a friendly image, is because Kim Ha-jin knows her real personality, which is different from the one she wears in public. Kim Ha-jin knows that Sunga will cast out anyone if they do not grow to meet her standards, and it does not matter if she has gone great lengths to scout them, because she has an extremely strength-oriented mindset that focuses on getting the best. Kim Ha-jin believes that if he forms a good relationship with Sunga, it will undoubtedly aid him in future events. Sunga, on the other hand, is rather confused after being rejected a discussion like this, so she reminds Kim Ha-jin that the deputy guild master of the #1 guild in Korea is showing interest in her. However, our boy still refuses to talk to her, because getting attention is only nice if it's genuine. Our boy believes that Sunga most probably approached him after seeing the light attribute attack our boy used in the Jin attack, which means that her interest in Kim Ha-jin is nothing more than a slight curiosity at this point. And to make sure Sunga's mere curiosity grows to genuine interest, Kim Ha-jin needs to refuse Sunga's offer a couple of times. To make sure it has a better effect, Kim Ha-jin abruptly gathers his stuff and walks away from Sunga, leaving her bamboozled alone in the cafe. Kim Ha-jin then returns to his dorm to study the stigma of authority, which is one of his unique abilities as a creator of the novel. Kim Ha-jin tests it out by using the magic power of the stigma to convert it into dagger form, and lo and behold, a dagger appears in his hand out of nowhere. Kim Ha-jin is amazed that he can use a dagger or any other thing by just thinking about it, which is possible thanks to the magic power. Our boy is relieved that he finally has a method of using magic power, because magic power is a stat that is heavily influenced by talent and early education, and given that our boy just plopped into this world, it would have been impossible for him to use magic. The next thing Kim Ha-jin has to test is the Book of Truth, which he manifests through the power of the stigma. A book appears in Kim Ha-jin's hands, telling our boy that it contains all the truths and will answer any questions as much as Kim Ha-jin's magic allows. Surprised that it answers anything, Kim Ha-jin uses one story point and asks the Book of Truth about his height, to which the Book of Truth responds that Kim Ha-jin is 174 centimeters tall. As he is figuring out the functions of the Book of Truth, Kim Ha-jin receives an emergency alarm on his smartwatch from the class group, which mentions that the cadets are looking for people who last saw Jin Haejong from the world class. After reading the message, Kim Ha-jin realizes that the second main story of the novel, the Cube Missing People incident, has finally started. During this episode of the novel, a total of 6 candidates go missing and without any clues to follow. The investigation goes nowhere, and the number of missing people tauntingly grows. Despite that, this episode is rather important because the culprit's final target is Yuyona, because if the co-author causes Kim Ha-jin to lose awareness of the main character's allies, like back in the museum, it would turn out quite bad for Kim Ha-jin. To prevent that, Kim Ha-jin believes he has to find the culprit himself. However, doing so quite early might cause the story to completely go out of order, so our boy decides to let things happen for now. The scene then shifts to Kim Suho, who is resting after a training session and is asked by his friend to have a look at the cadets who are bullying Kim Ha-jin. The cadets ridicule our boy for not being able to lift light weights and call him an embarrassment to the whole cube, going as far as to accuse him of bribing his way into the cube. Kim Suho wants to stop them. However, his friend, who is also a class president, stops him from doing so, telling Kim Suho that he should not get involved because it seems like Kim Ha-jin annoyed Shin Jong-hak, which means it would be harmful for Kim Suho if he got involved. Kim Suho believes that out of all people, the class president should not act like that, but the class president believes that Kim Ha-jin is acting to be weak because there is no way someone who destroyed an arm of a Jin would struggle over Shin Jong-hak's chumps. However, to everyone's surprise, Kim Ha-jin struggles to lift a heavy weight, and Kim Suho decides to stop the bullies. The commotion invites the instructor, Kim Soo-hyuk, who scolds the cadets for causing a ruckus while training and tells them to gather up as the written test results from last time are finally being displayed, so every cadet should check his score. Most of the cadets were not satisfied with their attempt and believe they have failed the test, But our boy does not have to worry about that since he copied the settings exactly as they were and managed to score first position. However, Kim Ha-jin's first place may have gotten him into trouble, as Rachel Elizabeth Louise, the Princess of England, who, apart from ranking third in the CUBE entrance exam, had never failed to rank first in a written test, no matter how small or large the test was. Rachel's attendants were concerned about her when she first secured a seat in the CUBE, fearing she would become nervous standing among the world's greatest hero candidates. Furthermore, because all of the classes were in Korean, they believed Rachel would struggle to keep up. Rachel, on the other hand, assured them not to worry about her, as she was determined to work hard to meet everyone's expectations and uphold the honor of the British royal family. However, after failing to secure the first spot on the written test, Rachel is ashamed to face the people of her nation. The instructor praises Kim Ha-jin's answer, which took a completely new perspective on phenomenon analysis, and hopes for the rest of the candidates to follow his example. After hearing what the instructor just said, Rachel is fired up to know how our boy studies, because not only phenomenon analysis is a difficult academic field, but the gap Kim Ha-jin has created with his scores is going to be quite hard to shorten in the midterm exams. The scene then shifts to Kim Ha-jin, who is on an information broker website, so that he can use the godsend ability, the Book of Truth, to use and earn some pocket change by providing the hunters with the information they require. Although the Book of Truth lets Kim Ha-jin learn any information in this world, as long as he has enough story points, Kim Ha-jin does not have much credibility, so it would be hard to earn money until Kim Ha-jin gets famous and starts getting tons of customers. Our boy subkits the merchant registration and proceeds to the story points investment, which he has been pushing for quite some time. The reason Kim Ha-jin is doing it now is because the second main story of the CUBE has started, which means that the CUBE is no longer safe from jinns, and his setting intervention and sharpshooting abilities are not enough to face off a jinn. Fortunately, Kim Ha-jin does not need to worry about story points, as thanks to Jong-hak and his gang bullying him, Kim Ha-jin got more than enough story points to go around, and it's about time to invest them to help increase his survivability. Our boy decides to upgrade his weapon first, and by using his story points, he changes its function to that of a sniper rifle. After investing 250 story points and hoping he is not doing something stupid, our boy changes his Desert Eagle to a sniper, hoping that he would be able to at least scare his enemies with this. Kim Ha-jin then proceeds to write Mastery, which, unlike Talent, which uses magic power to make supernatural phenomena occur, refers to physical techniques or skills that one polished, and for a sniper to survive and assassinate. The most important ability is Location, and the mastery useful for location selection is none other than Parkour, which will allow our boy to perform flexible and agile movements. Rather than being restricted by environmental obstacles, Parkour, albeit of low rank, allows our boy to use them for movement. However, the speed and utility will vary depending on strength and agility stats. Despite spending 350 points into learning this mastery, Kim Ha-jin does not feel anything at the moment and hopes that it works when needed. As he is tinkering with stats, Kim Ha-jin receives a group message where someone is asking about the whereabouts of Sunjian from the world class, as they have not been able to reach her since yesterday. This is the second victim of the CUBE missing people incident, and all of the cadets that were captured before Yona were murdered by the culprit, which makes our boy wonder if it is okay for him to just watch these disappearances happen even though he knows everything about the victims and the culprit. The scene then shifts to the outdoor training field at CUBE, where Kim Soo-hyuk has gathered the cadets for today's practical training, which is supposed to be special because the cave behind Kim Soo-hyuk is an artificial dungeon, which is a culmination of magic engineering technology, and there are monster dolls modeled after real monsters inside the artificial dungeon. Kim Soo-hyuk informs the students that the reason they are gathered today is because they are going to do a practice dungeon raid by raiding this artificial dungeon behind him. However, Kim Soo-hyuk strictly warns the cadets to not let their guard down just because it is training. Kim Soo-hyuk then informs the cadets about the joint training that is going to occur between the Veritas class and Cultivation class. To do that, a team will be made up of a group of each class, which is displayed right in front of the students, after which the students are instructed to go to their assigned teams. Our boy is in Team 8, which has Yuna, Jin Hozung, and Hazuki from the Veritas class, while Jaden, Kim Jingyu, Oh Sujong, and Li Jinxiao from the cultivation class. Kim Hajin recalls that there are all sorts of traps and deadly encounters lurking in the artificial dungeon, some of which are even created by the jinns, and despite having created a few bullets with attributes, he wonders if he will be able to complete this training safely. As our boy is wondering about it, he receives 3 separate setting change messages, which catch him off guard, and instead of gathering for the training, he starts looking for the cadets that change. As he is desperately looking for the variables, Kim Hajin gets scolded by Jo Yuna, who mocks our boy for being slow. However, thanks to this interaction, our boy finds out the first variable, Jo Yuna, whose personality was made more aggressive than original. The second variable is Jaden, who is on the same team as Kim Hajin, and his growth potential has increased by 0.5. The third variable is Sven, who is on Chai Nayun's team and whom she recalls seeing at the hunting club. Sven's alteration is more drastic than the other two, as his mental fortitude has grown significantly weaker, increasing his chances of being taken over by a jinn. Our boy is shocked to see these big changes occurring right at the same time.